Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hey, mothers and daughters, I am back, of course, again with another amazing lady to tell us about her move. And I'm so excited that she could give me her time today to discuss these things. Again, these topics that we are having are so important because so many people either want to move abroad or want to move to the United States of America. And I just feel like it's important to talk to people who have already done it, who are in the midst of doing it, why they've done it, talk about all these great things. Thank you for being my guest today, Ms. Dorcas. How are you?
I'm doing great, Ms. Dawn. Good morning.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being my guest. I'm going to tell you, I really, really appreciate it. I have just been excited and elated by people giving me the time to share their story. It's so important for us to share our stories with other women. So tell us, where did you live previously and where are you now?
Okay, previously I lived in a city called Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah.
Yes, and I moved to precisely Maryland. That's in the United States.
Okay, what made you make that move? Because usually it's us in the U.S. trying to get over to Nigeria. So what made you make the move to United States of America?
Initially, it was to come in as a student.
Okay.
There was I'm a cybersecurity professional.
Okay.
Like by trade, let me use that word. That's my profession. So as I started growing in my career, there was a particular exam that only happened in the United States as well as South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But I applied for the two. Luckily, I was approved for the one in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how I came into the United States. After coming into the United States, because my parents were here, so at the same time, it was not really about me staying here because the organization I worked for at that time was responsible for paying and everything.
Right.
Then at the end of the day, I just found out that I needed to go back to school.
Okay.
So when I went to that program, the woman really loved me. So she encouraged me to take some additional programs to elevate my career to another level. Because it was, at a certain stage, I saw myself there. And she thought it was too intermediate. I'm going to use the word intermediate. It was too intermediary. So she wanted me to move to the highest level of my career. So she advised me to take some of the programs, and that was why I did my paperwork. I was able to come in as a student. Yeah. After coming in as a student, my parents were like, okay, you can't spend 4 years here just as a student because they already put in the paperwork for us to be able to transition. So during that period, I was able to get my papers, and that was how everything happened.
Now, let me ask you something. Did you choose Maryland or did they choose Maryland for you?
No, because the program was in Virginia.
Okay.
So the reason, it was not mainly because of where I chose. The program was in Virginia, but my parents were in Maryland.
Got it.
So it was more convenient to stay with my parents because it was like an hour drive, even though it was not very convenient during that period going to school. Yeah. But it was an hour drive from Maryland to Virginia. Right. Compared to having to go stay with someone else. So that was one of the reasons why I chose Maryland at that point in time, because it was for transition purposes, it was easier.
Wonderful. So when you moved over, you were already married?
Yes, I was married.
Now, did your husband, did he say, okay, let's go? Or did he say, are you sure that's where we want to go? Or did he get a job also in Maryland?
He was more excited about the course than I was. Because, you know the kind of wife that you marry. I think he understood the kind of person I was. So for us, it took me 6 years to get that program approved.
Okay. Oh.
It was a program I already applied for ever before I thought of marrying him.
Right.
So immediately I got the approval for the program, I really didn't even want to go because I was already married. And he looked at me like, are you crazy? Oh, you going?
Yeah.
You're going.
You're going, and I'll see you when you come back and visit me, right?
But funny enough, it was not even about staying at that time. It was just to go for the program, like I said. But the woman encouraged me to stay because she saw a potential in me that I didn't see in myself.
Got it.
Yeah. So when I called him and I told him this was what the woman said, he was like, I support you. It's taking you to the highest level of your career. I know you are very ambitious. This is who I know you are. I know what you can do.
Oh,
So it
beautiful.
was more of the one encouraging me. I felt it was going to be a bit
Yeah,
stressful,
yeah, yeah,
but he was like, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. All
yeah.
it's going to take is visits, but we'll be able to handle it because this is an opportunity you may never get again.
May never. And I always say strike while the iron is hot. You have got to go for it when the opportunity is there because it may not come around the same way. You are so,
Yes, yes,
I'm so
yes.
happy that you have somebody that supports you with it because that could have been an issue. And you don't want anything to stagnate your career. You want someone who understands and that can move with the flow because you would do the same for them, right?
Exactly.
That is so awesome. So, since you've been in Maryland, what are some of the ways that you've been able to create community so that you have friends and that you can build a community with people?
One of the things I tell people that coming to the United States, I'm going to use the United States because that's what I'm used to.
Yes.
L- Always look for a church.
Oh, okay.
That's the first place you are going to find a community.
Okay.
Look for a church. And it's going to be a Bible believing church, those that believe in love,
Mm-hmm.
those that believe in community.
Mm-hmm.
So the first place I actually found community was the church.
Yes.
And from the church, no, I won't say church, it was a school.
Mm-hmm.
But the school was very restrictive based off of the kind of program we were doing. Like I said, it was a security program.
Mm-hmm.
So there were so many things I can't even talk about. So there were so many restrictions. We could not take pictures, we could
Mm-hmm.
not take videos, there were so many restrictions. So even though we were a community for that period of time, it was not a relationship we could extend outside of the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
But the place where I can tell you I have found most of the community engagement in this country is the church.
Wow.
Always start from the church. When
Okay.
you start from the church, you find people that also relocated. They will be in
Right.
a position to advise you. They
Right.
will be in a position to. Some of them will even help you with your job. I got my first job through the church,
Okay.
through someone in the church. So it's always a position where people will always open the doors, like I said. But
Mhm.
it does not have to be just any church. It
Right.
has to be a Bible believing church.
Got it.
When
Got
people believe in the Bible, they
Mm-hmm.
walk in a Christ-like way. So it is not about the tribe, it is not about the skin color, it's not about the culture. It is just about the fact that they see yourself as brothers and sisters
Mm-hmm.
in the Lord. So
Oh, that's
believe me, they will open those doors for you.
I understand. Now, how many times have you been able to how long have you been in Maryland, by the way?
Wow, about 15, 16 years.
Wow, that's really awesome. So yes, you stayed like the lady told you, right?
Yes.
Have you been able to go back to Lagos since you've been in the
Yes,
United States? And how
I've
often
been
do
to
you get to
Lagos.
go?
Yes, I've been to Lagos about 3 times.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly because of the nature of my job.
Uh-huh.
I can't travel as much as I would love.
Right, I understand. Let's talk about food. Now, I know that, for example, where you're from, you have lots of traditions, just like everybody else has traditions, but I know that in Africa you have very specific traditions when it comes to food and all of those things. How were you able to keep that same type of tradition, but also try new things when it comes to food? And do you have a favorite food in America?
Wow. Personally, I don't like a favorite food, but
Okay.
I am the kind of person that I can eat rice, anything that is rice related. I
Okay.
can eat it every day.
Okay.
So it's not
Okay.
my favorite, but it's something I'm very comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
Food has not really been a problem
Okay,
because
good.
there are local delicacies here, interestingly.
Yeah.
Even before I came into the country, I've always been the kind of person that cooks. I'm not very used to eating out.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right.
the way we were brought up. So we rarely eat out.
Okay.
So food has not really been a problem. There are African stores, but interestingly,
Yes.
there are substitutes in this country that looks almost the same thing. We have
Yes.
food in my country. We have a vegetable in my country called ugu.
Yeah.
That's pumpkin leaves. But do you know it's actually the same thing with kale?
Yeah.
It's almost looking the same thing like kale. Then the spinach, the watercress, it looks
Yes.
almost the same thing like the water leaves.
Right, right.
So a lot of times you can actually make substitutes, you can find alternatives. The pepper is the same.
Yeah.
It's just that I've discovered that the Jamaican ones, they are
Hmm.
by
Okay.
be much, much spicier than the ones in in Lagos. The red pepper is the same thing. The
Okay.
rice is the same thing.
Yeah. It's all the
Yes,
same.
the semolina, the farina, it's invariably the same thing.
Okay, good. So
So
do you
there is not so much of a difference.
so much of a
Interestingly,
difference? Yeah.
Nigeria is a kind of country that um, we have learned to inculcate a lot of different cultures because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people come into the country.
Mm-hmm.
So we do try a lot of Western foods. So it's not really much of a difference. I won't really call it so much of a difference. I'm just going to say maybe some differences. I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. Beetroots was not something I was used to until I came into this country.
Mm-hmm.
The apples, I used to do a lot of green apples in Nigeria, but
Mm-hmm.
here I do a lot of red.
Red apples, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
grapes. But funny enough, all those fruits are also available. They may just be a bit pricier, but
Right,
they
right.
are actually available. So I don't really think there's so much of a difference in terms of food. The only thing I'm going to say is the native, the local delicacies. But
Right.
interestingly, they are also available here. There are African stores, there are Mexican stores,
Yeah.
Asian stores.
Everything.
Always find the alternatives. I go to the farm to
Okay.
kill my meat, to kill my goats, and that is because that is what I am used to,
Right.
not because there are no alternatives in the store.
Mm-hmm.
The tribe, everything. I buy in bulk because that is what I am used to.
Right.
I still do that. I
Okay.
stock my freezer because that is what I am used to.
Yes.
I won't really tell you it makes so much of a difference.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad to hear that. Are you loving being in America, or do you sit back and go, you know, when I'm kind of done with this, I'm going back home?
You see, the truth is that there are more opportunities here,
Yes. Yes.
especially when it comes to something like my trade, my profession. When it comes to the tech field, there are more opportunities in the US than in Africa. But
Mm-hmm.
the truth is, for some of us that are also in the diaspora, we are using the opportunity to take that back to
Mm-hmm.
Africa. So those are some of the things that we are enlightening people about, even though those things are available
Mm-hmm.
in Africa, but it's not as widespread or as more globally accepted. When you're talking about global acceptance for tech,
Right.
US is the place to be.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
So the truth is, no matter how hard you look at some, I'm going to use the word some specific places or some aspects or some other things, there will always be that difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I love hearing, kind of like not just thinking about right now, but where you're thinking about in the future. And you know what? I'm very happy that there are so many opportunities here for you in the US because you have to think about your family and your lineage and your legacy and all of those things. And if you can take your skill and take it anywhere you want to go, whether it's in the US or some other country, I think you should fulfill that. That's amazing to be able
Yes.
to do that. That's great. Okay. Well, I would like to know, since you've been here in the US and of course you have your job that you do during the daytime, have you been able to talk with other expats to show them how they can also be amazing since they're making their transition?
To a large extent, it's dependent.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have a cybersecurity consulting outfit and I also do a lot of mentorship programs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
luckily, I'm opportune to meet with people from different parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Tech is a global village right now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a global village right now. So I'm opportune to meet with different people from the world. Some of them do ask questions, but that is for those that are interested in moving into the US.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have discovered that we are in a space right now where not everyone is interested in moving
Mm-hmm.
into another country,
Right.
probably because they don't want to start from scratch or they think they
Right.
have better opportunities in their country.
Right.
Another thing I have also discovered is yes, I'm trying to open the door for other, I'm going to use the word experts.
Yes.
Said experts. I do a lot of mentorship programs. I do a lot of I social media is a place where people come in and ask questions every day. So
Yeah.
even when you don't know someone, they come in and ask a question, especially when they want to relocate.
Mm-hmm.
So even when I can't answer those questions because it's not something I know about or I'm very good at, I don't know everything. That's just the truth. So I do make the make it a responsibility to let them go to someone or I refer them to someone else that probably has a good understanding or an idea. I've been in several calls where I'm probably going to have one of my friends or
Hmm.
one of my resources that I know just to be able to help someone else out.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Is there any message that you would like to leave with those who are interested in moving from one place to a next, if they don't have a opportunity like a job or something like that, but just the thought of moving from your country to, let's just say, just even the United States, would there be any type of message that you would like to give that they could consider?
The first thing I'm going to tell them is hope. Always believe in hope.
Mm-hmm.
Moving from one place to another place can be a bit difficult. Like I said, when I moved initially, 15, 16 years ago, there was a bit of a barrier. There was some barriers. But the truth is, I already had a support system
Yeah.
because my family was here and school and, like I said, church.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I'm going to tell you is if you have a church that has a branch
Mm-hmm.
outside or probably in the US,
Mm-hmm.
get
Mm-hmm.
a letter
Mm-hmm.
from your pastor
Oh,
that is going to introduce you to the pastor here.
yeah.
So you look like a member that is transitioning from another country.
Right. That's a smart.
That way, one of the things I have discovered is, especially when you're a worker, where you're coming from, and you
Mm.
get an introduction letter from your pastor saying, this is a new member, she's going to need help with this, she's going to need help with that.
Right.
It fastens the track.
Right.
Yes, they're going to bring you in, even if you are new and you're coming there freshly. But like I said, I believe in accelerated paces.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting that letter will not only increase and help. Sometimes it has, I've seen places where it has helped with accommodation.
Yes.
It
Yes.
has helped with, some people will even provide you with food, especially when you are a student. I have some students here that are coming from outside the country that their parents basically handed them over to me because they know I'm here. So it's easier for them to just pick their phone and call someone saying, oh, I'm good, I'm fine, because you feel like you have a family here. You feel like you know someone here.
That's right.
That is that's the first thing. Get a letter. Number two, don't have a biased mindset when coming in. Just come in with an open mind.
Mm.
Pray. I believe so much in prayer and I believe in grace. So
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you to pray and ask God for open doors and for God to give you what is called divine acceleration, so
Absolutely.
that your speed in that country moves at a very accelerated rate. Like
That's
I told you, I came in for a different purpose, but I had to stay for a different purpose.
right.
I came in for a 3 months program, but I had to stay for a 4 year program.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's a divine acceleration. Divine acceleration just sets in. It was not something that I anticipated or expected, but God used that woman for me. And I know it was because I prayed for grace when I was going to come in. That
Mm-hmm.
was one thing my husband kept praying for: grace, grace, grace,
Mm-hmm.
divine speed, divine acceleration,
Mm-hmm.
even though he did not know how the journey was going to be.
That's right. That's
Then
right.
another thing I'm also going to emphasize on
So
is,
powerful.
yes, don't be siloed. So many people that come into this country, especially when we are Africans, I tell them one thing: the person that receives you when you come in will determine your journey in the country you go to.
Mm.
So you don't have to be siloed. Because a lot of times I have found out there are some people in this country, they get the information, they hold it.
Yeah.
And there are some people that will go out to go look for information for you.
Right. Right. Right.
Because I was with my family, because I was in school, because of the church, I have seen people that sometimes you just go to church on a Sunday and somebody will say, come, 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 just follow me. And you're wondering, what is this person trying to talk about? But it's something that she does not want somebody else to hear about. Then
Right.
it's probably take you into like a private space. Do you know this and this is going on right now? Go and try it. Go and try it. You need to know it. You need to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you get information. So try as much as possible not to be silly.
Not to be sealed.
Yes, not to be
You
silly.
have
Be
given
very collaborative.
powerful tips. Oh my gosh. I mean, just you saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so right. She's so right. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I have appreciated listening to you. I've written down so many great tips. I can't wait to be able to put those in the description bar. And if you have a website, or if you have anything you'd like to promote, if you've written a book or anything, make sure you send me the links to everything. And Miss Dorcas, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Ms. Dawn.
All right. I appreciate your time.
You
Have a good
too. Have a
day.
lovely day.
All right. Bye-bye.